Don't you look so cute? Wow, you look like a princess, Sophie. You just need a crown. I just loved playing dress up with Sophie. Even though she's a panda, she is my best friend. My name is Sue, and I'm from China. If you want to know more about my pandas, hidden treasure, and my life story, click the like button. And also don't forget to subscribe. Believe it or not, my whole family has dedicated their lives to protecting these pandas. We crash-landed here ages ago. My parents loved me a lot, but sometimes I felt they were so secretive, especially about the locked treasure chest they have hidden away.
Sue, it's time for your math class. We are learning divisions today.
Come on, Sophie, time for school. Mom teaches me every day from home, and I love all my subjects since Mom makes it so much fun to learn.
Should we count berries or cocoa beans for our math lesson today?
Cocoa beans. Going to school with a panda meant I had to count fast. Sometimes the lessons were over before they started. The bell was our alarm system. Whenever there were hunters in the village, Dad rang the bell. Mom ran out, and I followed behind her.
Shaw, take Sue inside.
But I want to come too.
You know how this goes, Sue. Your dad and I will be back as always.
My parents protected all pandas in the forest, and I wanted to do the same. So this time, I decided to follow them. The forest did a great job of protection with natural defenses, but it wasn't enough. As I hid behind the bushes, I accidentally stepped on a stick. I tried to duck away from Mom's stick, but eventually she got me, and I squealed. Mom, it's me!
Sue, I told you to stay in the house.
But I wanted to see how you catch the hunters.
Sue, you could have gotten hurt. You need to listen to us. This can get very dangerous, and our pandas need our help.
Then teach me. What if you get sick or something? Who's going to help the pandas then?
Sue, it's just too dangerous.
Sophie's family? Are you saying I shouldn't take care of my family? You take care of me. What if you need me someday, but I'm not ready? I was not one to give up. So, eventually, my parents decided to give me a chance and started training me. Arrgh! Why can't I get this right?
Patience, Sue.
I kept failing at getting it right, but with my parents' support, I became a pro at setting up traps after a few months.
Go.
I memorized each movement in my mind, and I had practiced so much, my body knew what to do. After a couple of months, the hunters didn't stand a chance. I cut the rope, the net fell, and bang, I caught him.
Wow, you even beat us.
Well done, Sue.
I felt so good about myself. Finally, my parents believed in me, and we were a team. After that day, my parents finally showed me what's in the chest, and I was amazed when they showed me a treasure map.
Sue, now that you are old enough, I think it's time we told you how we ended up living here.
Before you were born, your mom and I owned an antique shop. One day, we found this map, stuffed into an ancient vase. Some very bad people knew we had it, and they've been looking for it and us for years.
Cool. When are we going on a treasure hunt?
We've been waiting for you to grow up and be strong enough for the hike.
We think you're ready.
I sat gazing at this map, daydreaming about the moment we would finally find the treasure. I should have known that wherever there's treasure, there's also trouble. That night, I was startled awake by the warning bell. My parents were standing at the balcony, looking worried. And then I went to see what it was. All the pandas were gathered around our treehouse, which meant that they were scared.
We really need you to stay here this time. Understand?
But you showed me how to get hunters. I want to help.
This is something else. I've never seen them act this way. You must stay inside. Keep Sophie safe.
Mom paused for a moment and looked at me with tears in her eyes and blew me a kiss before she left.
I love you, Sue.
The next day, Sophie and I waited and waited for my parents, but they never came back. Yeah, me too. Days went by, and it was just me and Sophie. I was angry and worried at the same time. Why didn't they come back? All the food we had was gone. Sophie started sniffing for food and suddenly ran out of the house. Sophie, what is it, girl? Do you smell something? Mom? Dad? This is Mom's jacket. Where are you guys? Sophie and I suddenly heard voices. Come on, Sophie, we have to hide. there were more hunters. I was wondering how I could trap them and if they had seen my parents, when suddenly I spotted this gorgeous boy with features like Hercules. The boy kept taking pictures of trees and bushes, and then he got closer to where Sophie and I were hiding, so I pricked him on his leg with a thorn.
Ow!
Benjamin, what is it?
Yeah, it was just a thorn. I'm gonna take some more pictures at the riverside. I'll meet you at the camp.
I saw the boy moving away from the group and decided to follow him. And just maybe, he might know where Mom and Dad were. I climbed up a tree and watched him flash his camera until he flashed at me. Startled, slipped, and came tumbling down right on top of him. Ah! Up close, he looked so fine, but then I remembered my parents. What do you people want from my forest?
Your forest? Ow, what's your problem?
Go back to your own territory.
Hey, relax. We're just here on a tour.
Just as the boy took one step towards me, my panda crew appeared, and his face turned pale. Not so brave now, are we?
Aren't you scared?
Nope, but you and all your people should be, unless you want to be our supper. Good one. It wasn't until we chased him off that I remembered I should have asked him about my parents. Not so good after all. After all that drama, my throat felt dry. So I went to the waterfall to grab some water, only to find a girl picking the wrong type of berries. And just as she was about to place one in her mouth, I leaped like a leopard and tumbled onto her, saving her from being poisoned.
Ah! Get off me! What is wrong with you, you stupid girl? Now my dress is all muddied up.
A little thank you would be nice.
Ladies, what's going on here?
This cow jumped on me for nothing. Look at my dress.
This cow just saved your life, you ungrateful monkey. Those berries were poisonous.
Whatever, I'm telling Dad.
I was surprised by her behavior. The bratty girl just walked off without even apologizing. But the handsome boy stayed behind.
Look, we come in peace, and we won't do anything to harm your forest, I promise.
Wait, she won't hurt you, as long as you do come in peace. I tried to squeeze my stomach to make it stop grumbling, but I was super hungry, since all the food in the house had run out.
You can join us for supper if you like. There's plenty to eat. Please?
Since the boy was literally begging me to eat their food, I decided to go with him. Plus, Sophie wouldn't take no for an answer.
So what's your name, and what are you doing out here all by yourself?
Oh, I'm never really alone. My parents taught me never to give my real name away, so I quickly thought of this famous singer Dad always bragged about, Michael Jackson. My name is Michael Jackson.
Okay, Michael Jackson.
I wanted to ask him right away about my parents, but something just didn't feel right. Timing was way too coincidental with them showing up, so I thought I'd check out the camp first, before asking. While I dined with Benjamin's people, I felt a little awkward as I kept looking for signs of my parents. Then, his father started questioning me.
You seem a little nervous, Michael Jackson. So, where are you from?
From the south?
Are you sure? And your parents? They work around here?
Yes, all around here, mostly. I tried to keep my answers very short, and then I saw Dad's ring on the man's finger. My head started spinning, so I quickly excused myself. Sorry. Excuse me while I go to the loo. When I was away from the table, I started panicking, but I had to be brave for my parents. And then I saw some movement inside of one of the tents. I bravely approached the tent and looked inside, and was shocked to see my parents all tied up. Mom? Dad?
Sue! Oh, thank goodness.
I quickly started untying them, but the ropes were so tight.
Hurry up, Sue, before they come.
But I was too late. Benjamin entered.
What are you doing in here?
Stay away from me! You and your people took my parents.
No! I swear I had nothing to do with this. I am as surprised as…
Steve appeared behind Benjamin, and then his bodyguards gagged and tied him up.
This is turning out to be a nice little anti-family reunion.
What do you want from us?
Just the treasure map. Bring it to me, and I'll let your parents go. Guards, escort Sue out, and get rid of Benjamin.
But he's your son.
My brother's son. So I don't need him anymore, since his trust fund is all drained out. Now let's see about getting that treasure map, shall we?
I gave the map to the greedy old man, thinking he would give me my mom and dad back. I had a lot to learn about bad people. Here's your map. Give me back my parents.
In good time. Now you will take us to the treasure.
But you said after I give you the map, you would let my parents go.
I don't like repeating myself. Take us to the treasure.
We had been walking for many hours following the map. Then we heard Mimi screaming her lungs out, running towards us. Right behind was the king panda of the forest. He was a huge, angry, and snarling panda thundering up the trail. I instantly knew what we had to do. Run! Eventually, we lost King Panda, and we reached a place where there were 3 mountains in a high valley. We had to consult the map again. I think this is where the treasure is, in the middle cave.
Daddy, you were going on a treasure hunt and you didn't think of taking me? Hey, where's Benjamin?
Don't worry about it. We're rich now. And with all that treasure, I'm going to buy you the biggest mansion ever.
Mimi very quickly forgot about Benjamin and skipped ahead, thinking about the big mansion her father was going to buy her after stealing our treasure. You want me to go first? Make sure there's no...
Out of my way. Come on, Mimi. Let's take a look at our new treasure.
It's mine. I saw it first.
At this point, I was not surprised. I just could not understand how someone could act like that. And if this is what treasure did for people, I knew I didn't want any part of it.
Look what I found.
Look what I found.
Taking advantage of all the interest in the treasure, I started running back to camp to free my parents. I had only just started when I heard blood-curdling screams. I knew it couldn't be good. At first, I thought they were running from a monster, but when I saw their faces, they didn't look scared. They looked angry.
You tricked us. Where is my treasure?
Wow, this looks interesting. How to start your own organic farm.
You stupid girl. Where is my treasure? Or I swear I'll...
Haven't you ever heard that one man's trash is another man's treasure?
Steve was so angry, and he was making it my fault. I felt so overwhelmed until I saw Benjamin walk to us with a group of men dressed in blue.
Next time when you throw your son in the ditch, maybe take his cell phone away when you do it. Officers, arrest this trash.
The bad man and his bratty daughter were taken away, and then Benjamin hugged me, and I felt safe again.
I'm so sorry about all this.
My parents, are they okay?
Yes, they are waiting for you back at camp.
As my parents and I were going through the treasure box with all the treasure, Mom found a letter inside one of the books.
Hey, look at this.
We read the letter together, which was dated a few decades ago.
Dear kindred spirit, congratulations on finding the treasure trove. Knowledge is power. If you want to change the world, read these books. Then keep on reading. Read everything you can. Learn, grow. Your mind is your treasure. These books are one-of-a-kind personal insights from a lifetime of exploration. They will serve you well.
The letter was signed by someone named Einstein, and we all wondered if it could be the Einstein.
You heard the man. Pick one and start reading.
While reading, Benjamin popped by and addressed my parents.
I'd like to know if I can take Sue Michael Jackson on a date in the city. I have a helicopter waiting outside.
Sue Michael Jackson.
A helicopter?
After the police took the bad people away, Benjamin went back to the city. He found out that his father left a will for him, a will his uncle didn't know about. So he became a millionaire overnight.
Just bring her back safely.
Wait, let me fix her hair first.
Perfect. I held on to Benjamin's arm and went out on my first date in a helicopter. I was super excited. So where are we going?
We are going out for pizza.
Perfect. I love pizza. What is pizza? As Benjamin and I made our way, my parents stood waving along with our panda family. And as I stood there watching my family, I realized I already had the best treasure in the world, family. And nothing could ever take that away.
Don't shout. Hi, I'm Sandra. And if you promise to stay real quiet, I will tell you a story about how I faced mummies and fought off a bear with my bare hands. You think I'm lying? Please like and subscribe to find out.
My love for antiques started when I was a child. Mom worked at the biggest museum in the city, and with it came my hobby of playing make-believe.
Be gone, you monstrous bear!
Just then, Mom knocked at my bedroom door and walked in before I told her to.
Oh, Mr. Teddy!
My mom behaves like a child stuck in an adult's body. It's so annoying, but when I noticed the dress she was wearing, I felt steam come out of my ears. My dress! It's about to burst at the seams!
Time for my date, and make sure to make dinner.
Make dinner? You were in the kitchen for hours!
Come on. Cooking would ruin these pretty darlings.
Ugh, Mom! The next morning, I found Mom snoring like a bear on the sofa. I see the date went well.
Oh, Sandra. My dress tore.
You mean my dress?
Our dress tore. Just when we started dancing, he laughed at me. He's such a jerk.
There, Mom. You have to forget about him and get back to work now, okay? Besides, I made pancakes. Your favorite.
Thanks. And, honey, come over to the museum after school so I can treat you to lunch, yeah?
Sure thing, Mom. The next day, as I was riding my bike to school, from afar, I noticed Daniel, a guy I had a crush on for years. As I attempted to wave, I suddenly lost my balance and the bike came toppling down. It was the worst moment of my life.
OMG. Sandra, are you okay?
Oh, yeah, I'm fine. Don't worry about it. I was wondering...
Nice top there. Is it meant to be that way?
I looked down at my top and shrieked in horrified embarrassment. I had it on inside out. I'm such an idiot. Yeah, it's upside down day.
Okay, I didn't get the memo. I'll see you around. Oh, and by the way, the upside down look looks really nice on you.
My face turned so red, blushing like a tomato. When I entered the school hall and found my best friend, Jessica, one of the hottest girls in school, writing her name on some random guy's chest. She just loved fooling around with desperate guys. Hey, Jess! Out of nowhere, Keen, the school's coolest jock, and last I remembered, Jessica's current boyfriend, came and started making trouble.
You stay away from my Jessica.
Keen, I dumped you yesterday. Get that into your thick cranium of yours and leave me alone.
Please, just give me a second chance.
They broke up? Jessica didn't even tell me about it. But I wasn't too surprised. Jessica never dated a guy for more than 1 week, no matter how hot he was.
Sandra, Jean, meet my new boyfriend. Quack, quack.
It's Casker.
Whatever, let's go.
Jessica walked off with her new boyfriend and left me standing with Keen. He was staring at me like I was some kind of NPC.
Sandra, please talk to...
Forget it, dude. Jessica never repeats a guy. As much as I pitied him, I knew Jessica well enough not to bother. I had begged for dozens of her past exes on their behalf for another chance, but she never gave in. But Keen wouldn't give up. After school, as I rode to my mom's workplace, Keen followed me.
Please, Sandra, Jess is my oxygen.
You're still alive, bro! Drop it! I entered the museum with Keen stuck like glue behind me, and then Mom spotted us.
Wow, who's the eye candy behind you?
Just ignore-
I'm Keen, ma'am.
Keen, can you-
Such a good-looking boyfriend. You have good taste, just like me.
He's not my boy-
Take it to the cellar. I'll go clean up.
Follow me. The cellar smelled so damp and dingy as usual. Okay, let's go.
Not until you say you'll help me.
Oh, for the sake of rats and cheese! I grabbed his arm and began to pull at the big oaf when the wall behind him suddenly slid open to a room. What did you do?
My hand just touched something.
Touch that thing back and let's go!
Hey, what's in there?
I don't know, but it's obviously a restricted area.
Come on, don't tell me you don't want to check it out.
I had never seen this part of the museum before. And yes, I was sort of curious to see what was inside. Fine, just 2 minutes. The small room led to a tunnel, but as we entered, the wall suddenly closed behind us. Keen, this is not good!
I'll protect you from, any spiders and similar predators we may encounter.
You think that's all we'll find in here?
What else? Mummies?
The room the tunnel led to was full of mummies. I knew we had overstepped our boundaries then. Keen was too thick-headed to care.
There are mummies in here for real. Sandra, we just made the discovery of a century.
Keen, we have to leave! Now!
Hold on, let me just take one picture. I will get 1 million followers with this. Oh, and look, they're wrapped in toilet paper too. Definitely gonna use this next time I go to the bathroom.
Don't be The moment Keen took the picture, the lanterns began to flicker.
Oh my god, what's going on?
What do you think? Their ghosts are coming for you!
Ah! Something touched me.
I was joking with the ghost thing, but when Keen shrieked, I began to sweat too. Let's just leave, now! Somehow we managed to find the tunnel, but when we came to the other room, we couldn't find the lever.
The mummies! I can hear footsteps.
I could hear the footsteps too. We hugged each other and began to say our last prayers.
Something touched my shoulder.
I nearly wet myself when I felt a cold, bony hand on my shoulder too. I opened my mouth to scream when the lights came on. Mom and Jess stood there gawking at us.
Aw, how romantic! But really, in the cellar? Sandra, you can do better.
Our imaginations had gotten the better of Keen and I. Turns out, it was just a room full of old mummies and skeletons. After we left the cellar, Mom treated us all to a nice lunch and returned to work while we made our way home. Until Jessica suddenly appeared and looked at me furiously.
Oh, wow. You gotta be kidding me.
What?
Your mom even confirmed it. You two are dating. Keen, I thought you loved me.
I thought you dumped me.
We aren't dating!
Shut up. Don't talk to me.
When I got home, I called Jess to explain, but she wouldn't pick up.
Open up, honey.
When I opened the door, Mom stood there with the same thing that had terrorized Keen and I today. Ah! Take it away!
Honey, the museum let me take one. I thought it would be a nice decoration for the living room.
Just keep it in your room and lock the door.
Oh, okay.
As my mom dragged the mummy down the hallway, I could swear it waved at me. But when I looked again, it seemed to be my imagination alone. Keen!
We need to see Jessica and explain what happened.
Okay, just a minute. I couldn't believe my eyes when we got to Jess's house. She was with Daniel! How could she do this? She knew I had a crush on him. What's going on here?
Oh, nothing. Just a taste of your own medicine.
Rage filled my veins, and I acted rashly. Oh, watch this! I wasn't thinking straight, neither was I prepared for what followed. That evening, I was walking home from Jessica's, and I was startled to hear Keen behind me.
Sandra, wait! That kiss.
That kiss was just to get back at Jess.
Well, it seems...
His heart was beating really hard.
I want you to be my girlfriend instead of Jessica. We already have your mom's blessing. Just think about it.
I was still reeling from the shock of Keen's confession when Mom dropped another one on me. She wanted us to go camping for the weekend and had already invited Jessica and Keen for it too.
Honey, they are my friends too.
Normal parents make friends with their fellow adults.
Are you calling me abnormal?
That's a possibility.
What did you say?
Oh, nothing. When I arrived at the campgrounds with my mom, I wanted to disappear. Jessica had brought Daniel along as her date.
I'm only here because of your awesome mom.
Like I really care. Soon, Mom stepped out of her tent wearing a gown that made me hot with embarrassment. Mom?
First camp activity, we danced to the glorious sound of cumbia.
I love Kumbaya. Daniel, video me. Okay.
It wasn't long before I was enjoying the dance, music, and Mom's comic appearance. Soon, night came and we had to eat.
I spy with my little eye something black.
A black marshmallow.
Exactly. Jessica, your marshmallow has turned black.
The sound of a growl behind us cut our laughter short.
Bear!
Run! We ran to the trees and hid behind them, but the bear remained at our campsite. Now what?
Well, I can tell you guys some awesome stories.
Can you be serious for once? Great, I'm drenched.
It's okay. I can fix.
No, it's not okay. Not with an immature mom like you. I'm the one who has to cook and remind you to bathe and go to work. Now I'm soaked, hungry, and stuck with an impulsive mom and a backstabbing friend.
Sandra!
I ran out to the stupid bear that had forgotten its home and grabbed a burning stick.
Sandra!
Excuse me, Mr. Stinky Bear! Back up! Shoo! Shoo! Before I turn you into a roasted marshmallow! I scared the bear away and sat down to eat my marshmallows.
Honey, I'm sorry.
Mom must have gotten the hint that I didn't want to talk and left me alone. Then Keen moved closer to me. Can you give me a little space?
Give her a little space, dude.
I looked at Daniel in confusion. What was his business with how close Keen sat to me, since he had his girlfriend right there beside him too?
Daniel, did you know that Sandra here has been obsessed with you since elementary school?
Jessica!
She is a coward. Forget that she chased a bear. She's brave. None of us could do what she did with the bear.
Daniel's fierce defense stopped me from tackling Jessica to the ground. Then we heard a pained scream from Mom's tent. Snake! We all jumped at the sight of the rattlesnake coming out of Mom's tent. The sight of my mom in pain made me start to cry.
We have to take her to a hospital, now.
Mom was rushed to the emergency room. I'll be on the balcony.
Sandra, wait.
What?
I've never met a guy I dumped move on to another girl so fast. I got jealous. I'm so...
All I want right now is for my mom to be okay. After all the mean things I said, if she...
She'll be fine.
To my immense relief, Mom was cleared to return home the next day.
I'm so sorry for everything. I vow to be a much better mom from now on.
No, Mom. I'm the one who is sorry for yelling at you. And I love you, Mom.
Love you too, honey.
The sound of Keen and Daniel singing outside cut our moment short. I went out to see what the ruckus was all about. Guys? Daniel?
My heart beats for you, Sandra.
Let me be your guy.
Sorry, guys, but I refuse to be the fallback plan for Jessica's sloppy seconds. I guess she just dumped you too, huh, Daniel?
I guess there's no helping it then.
Daniel and I aren't dating. In fact, the day you saw him at my house, he came to beg me to make you like him again. I just took advantage of him to hurt you. Please forgive me. I've been too shy to say it. But when you fought that bear, wow.
I feel the same. I felt the same way for ages.
Shall we take a walk?
For Teddy's sake, kiss already.
Mom! Come on, girl! We're almost there! 2 arrows whizzed past my ears while another grazed my shoulder. I winced in pain, but we had to keep moving. I steered Gaia skillfully between the trees as the sounds of hooves closed in on us.
There she is. Get her.
Soon, we came upon a waterfall, which was one of the many ways into our village, and rode right through it. Hi, my name is Nalini, and I'm from Hawaii. Have you liked and subscribed to our channel yet? If you haven't, go ahead and do that. I grew up in a village with my papa, Chief Matanui, and my older sister, Kaimo. Kaimo and I were best friends, and we did everything together. Our warriors are feared by many surrounding villagers as we take their food, livestock, and valuables for ourselves. We're the second strongest village on the island. The first was Chief Keanu's village, who we steered clear of because their warriors overpowered us by 10 to 1. On Kaimo's 18th birthday, Papa told Kaimo that she was going to get married.
Papa, I'm not going to marry Chief Keanu's son.
Kimo, as the daughter of the chief, you are obligated to do whatever is required to ensure a better future for your village.
Papa, I'm not.
You will be married in 3 days. End of discussion.
Over the next 2 days, the village bustled with preparations for the wedding. On the day of the wedding, Kaimo's handmaids went to her bedroom, and Kaimo was gone. Papa was furious, and so was Chief Keanu.
You promised us your daughter's hand. You are a disgrace to your people. You no longer have the support of me or my people.
As Chief Keanu and his people walked away, Papa flipped the table.
Find Kimo. Find her now.
Months passed, and Kaimo was never found. With Kaimo out of the picture, guess who is next on the list for the throne? That's right, me. Instead of fun rides through the forest with Gaia, my days were now spent listening to the problems of the villagers, sitting in boring meetings with the elders and attending events that I didn't even want to attend. I also had to train to be a warrior, and I totally sucked at weapons training.
Nalini, how do you expect to protect your people if you can't protect yourself? Again.
One evening, as I sat in one of the trees overlooking the ocean, 2 women were passing by when I overheard something very interesting.
If you ask me, Chief Matanui should hire the warrior on Mount Mauna Kea to help Nalini. I heard he trained all Chief Keanu's warriors.
And we know that girl needs as much help as she could get.
Both women cackled. While I was highly annoyed by what they had said about me, I was intrigued by this warrior in the mountain. He may be my only chance at becoming a great warrior. The following night, I snuck out of the village on foot to find him. After about 2 hours, I stumbled across a small hut. I called out as I approached it. Hello? Is anyone there?
Who wants to know?
Startled, I spun around. Leaning against a tree was the cutest guy I'd ever seen. Hi. I'm looking for the warrior in the mountains. I need his help.
Look, if you're looking for someone to beat up your boyfriend because he didn't treat you right, you've come to the wrong place, princess.
How dare he think that I'd want to use the warrior skill for something as trivial as squabble between my boyfriend? Then it dawned on me. Wait, you're the warrior. I thought you'd be older.
Sorry to disappoint you. Is that all? I have things to do.
I'm a warrior in training and I need the warrior's help. Will you help me? We stood there for a few minutes just looking at each other. When he didn't respond, I turned and walked away slowly.
I'll train you. Meet me back here tomorrow night.
The next night, I went back to meet the warrior.
Let's get started.
He threw a spear at me and it fell quickly through my fingers. He raised his eyebrows and looked at me amused. I picked it up quickly and smiled nervously.
Follow me.
Over the next few weeks of training, the only thing I learned about the warrior was his name, Rangi. But even though we didn't speak, I found myself falling head over heels for him as he trained me. One night, when I arrived for training, Rangi said I needed to put what I learned into practice. How are we going to do that?
I tied a white cloth on the top of Chief Keanu's palace. Get that cloth, bring it back here, and your training will be complete.
I groaned. Does it have to be Chief Keanu's?
You want to be the best, don't you?
I nodded. About 30 minutes later, we arrived at the palace, and I saw the white cloth at the top of Chief Keanu's palace dancing in the wind.
You get the cloth and bring it back here.
I nodded and quickly scaled the palace wall undetected. I slipped in and out of the shadows and hid under wagons and behind walls until I was close enough to the palace. I used my grappling hook and walked up the side of the palace wall. As soon as I got to the roof, I untied the cloth and pushed it into my pocket. I was on my way down when I slipped on a loose tile and almost fell off the roof. I screamed as my fingers grabbed the edge of the roof, alerting the warriors that surrounded the palace.
On the roof!
I quickly pulled myself up onto the roof and ran across until I was able to jump off safely. I was quickly surrounded by 5 of Chief Keanu's warriors. I knew that I wasn't skilled enough to take them down on my own. I was about to surrender when Rangi attacked the first warrior, then the second. It wasn't long before I jumped in and Rangi and I were fighting side by side. We fought really well together. Suddenly, an arrow flew past me and headed straight for Rangi. Rangi, look out! Rangi turned just in time and caught the arrow between his fingers. He dropped the arrow and grabbed my hand.
It's time to go.
Rangi and I ran and slipped over the palace wall before we were caught. We ran until we collapsed out of breath at the foot of the mountain. Rangi held my hand.
You did well.
And guess what I have? I pulled out the white cloth and Rangi laughed. I looked into his eyes. They were so mesmerizing. Our faces were so close. Was this going to be my first kiss? I closed my eyes and leaned forward, but the kiss never came.
I think you should get home now. You've had a long night.
Rangi got up and walked away. Disappointed, I went home. Later that night, as I lay in bed thinking about Rangi, the sound of screams echoed through the village. I bolted outside and saw a few homes ablaze. Our warriors were in a standoff against Chief Keanu's warriors.
One of your people stole a prize necklace from my throne room tonight, and I want it back. My people know better than to steal from you.
Chief Keanu handed Papa a piece of fabric which only our people wore. My eyes widened. Then, Chief Keanu's warriors tossed Rangi in front of him.
My warriors heard a girl call out his name. Tell me who this girl is, and I'll spare your people and your puny little village.
I watched as Papa lifted Rangi by the neck.
Tell me your accomplice, now.
Papa! Stop! Papa dropped Rangi like a rag doll, and I ran over and stood between them.
What is the meaning of this?
Papa! I went to Chief Keanu's village, but I didn't steal anything. I swear.
If my necklace is not in my possession by tomorrow night, my warriors and I will be back, and the only thing remaining of your village will be vague memories.
Chief Keanu and his warriors rode away, and Papa went psycho. He glared at me and grabbed me by the shoulders.
This is all your fault. Look at what you caused.
Papa, you're hurting me. I didn't. Papa let go of me and walked off. I bolted towards the stables and quickly mounted Gaia. I rode out of the stable and exited the village. I needed to clear my head. I rode until I came to the thicket, where there was a rotting cottage. Looks like we'll be spending the night here. I couldn't believe that Papa didn't believe me. I was angry and hurt. I huddled against Gaia and fell asleep. I was awakened by a hand over my mouth. My heart pounded against my chest.
Shh, it's me. Someone's coming.
It was Rangi. I breathed a sigh of relief and then instantly panicked. I scanned the room. There was no way to escape.
Mount Gaia, now!
Rangi and I mounted Gaia and waited anxiously for the person to burst through the door. All at once, flamed arrows lit the cottage. Gaia reared and we bolted through the old cottage door. Splinters sprinkled across our faces. As we rode further and further into the woods, it became harder to ride. We had no choice but to go the rest of the way on foot. We tried to maneuver between the trees as quickly as we could with Gaia, but it was no use. Soon, shadows surrounded us.
Are you ready to surrender?
I squinted my eyes at the person who stepped out from behind the trees. Beams of moonlight fell across her face. Kaimo! Kaimo lifted her hands to her mouth, shocked. I ran over to her and hugged her. She hugged me back.
Nalini, it's so good to see you. We can't stay here. We've got to keep moving.
Kaimo led us to the darkest part of the woods. She stopped in front of some thick vines. She moved to the side and waved us in. On the other side of the vines was a village. This is why Papa's warriors couldn't find you. Kaimo's eyes seemed a little distant for a few seconds.
I'll show you where you'll sleep for the night.
Kaimo showed us to her hut and gave us something to eat. I quickly explained what had happened. If we don't get the necklace back, then... I burst into tears and Kaimo hugged me.
Don't worry, Nalini. We'll figure out what to do together.
When Rangi had fallen asleep, Kaimo and I went for a walk.
I'm sorry that I left, but I couldn't go through with the wedding.
I understand, but I wished you would have at least said goodbye. Kaimo went silent for a few seconds before she spoke again.
I think I have something that Chief Keanu might want more than the necklace.
What's that?
I've decided to get married to his son.
Kaimo, you can't!
I am obligated to do what is required to ensure a better future for our village. This may be our only hope.
Early the following day, Kaimo, Rangi, and I stood outside the walls of Chief Keanu's village. Are you sure about this? Kaimo nodded. We left Gaia and the other horses outside as we entered the village. We went straight to the palace where we were immediately taken to Chief Keanu.
Chief Keanu, I offer myself as a peace offering between our two villages.
You think I built all of this through peace? You've proved yourself to be disloyal once. Why will I ever allow you to marry my son? Seize them!
The warriors seized Kaimo and I, while Chief Keanu stood next to Rangi.
Have you ladies met my son, Rangi?
Your son?
Why yes, he helped me to develop this elaborate charade.
But Rangi, I thought...
You thought he cared about you? Rangi only cares about himself.
Rangi looked away from me.
I exiled him when I caught him stealing from me. I told him if he did this for me, I'd welcome him back with open arms.
Rangi, I trusted you! I screamed as I tried to wiggle free from the arms that held me.
And look at where that landed you. Take Nalini to the dungeon, and take Chemo to the execution quarters.
Suddenly, the arms around me loosened. Rangi had knocked the warrior to the ground. I punched the wire that held Kaimo. It dazed him enough to loosen his grip and Kaimo was freed. We quickly disarmed the warriors and took their weapons, but more entered the room.
Nalini, we'll hold them off. Get help now.
But Kaimo!
Go!
I dodged the warriors and dove out of the window. I scaled the village wall and found Gaia where we left her. I mounted her quickly. Yeah! I rode as fast as I could, and when I entered our village and steered Gaia straight into the palace, I found Papa and the warriors preparing for battle. Papa, Kaimo is in danger! I quickly told Papa about my encounter with Kaimo and Rangi's betrayal. Chief Keanu isn't coming here. He's going to execute Kaimo.
Warriors, let's go save our princess.
The warriors banged their shields with their weapons and let out a war cry as we exited the palace. I was about to mount Gaia when Dad stopped me.
Nalini, you must stay here. If we don't return, your people will need you more than ever.
I wrapped my arms around Dad and cried. He kissed me on my forehead, then mounted his horse and rode away with the other warriors. It seemed like an eternity before I heard the victory chant coming from our warriors as they entered the village.
Nalini!
Kaimo ran toward me and hugged me. Where's Papa? Kaimo shook her head, and a feeling of dread filled the air.
Papa risked his life for me.
That night, our village mourned the loss of their chief. Early the next morning, when I woke up, Kaimo sat by my bedside.
We have to discuss what's going to happen now that Papa's gone. The elders are waiting for us.
Kaimo's voice trailed off and I hugged her tightly. How were Kaimo and I going to make it without Papa? While we were discussing the future of the village, a warrior ran into the room.
The chief is alive.
Kaimo and I shared a look before we followed the warrior outside. There stood Dad, with Rangi supporting him. The elders took Papa away to see about his wounds, while the warriors seized Rangi. I felt my heart break into pieces. Rangi looked at me, but I turned and walked away. Over the next few days, I tried to keep myself as busy as possible to keep my mind off Rangi. I couldn't believe he had betrayed me. Eventually, Kaimo and I were summoned to the throne room where Papa sat.
I just wanted to let you know that I'm proud of both of you. I know I have been tough on both of you, and it couldn't have been easy.
Papa, I shouldn't have left. I should have stayed and done what was best for the village.
Sometimes, as a leader, you also have to do what's best for you, Kimo. I'm proud that you stood up for yourself. You'll be a great chiefess one day, with or without a chief by your side.
Papa then turned to me.
Nalini, I'm sorry that I didn't believe you. I hope you can forgive me, the both of you.
Kaimo and I hugged Papa. Then he told us how Rangi saved him from Chief Keanu.
Nalini, I will allow you to choose his fate.
Papa motioned for the warriors to bring Rangi in. My heartstrings pulled as Rangi was brought before us. Could I really stop loving Rangi? Even though he placed us in danger, he did save Papa and defended Kaimo and me against his father. That counted for something, didn't it? I looked at my father and then Kaimo, who nodded. I walked over to Rangi and slapped him in the face. Taking him to the dungeons! You've proved yourself to be disloyal once. You aren't welcome here. You really didn't think I'd let a traitor roam freely in our village, did you? Hello, I'm Celine, and I'm from Greece. Please like and subscribe. As I grew up, my parents realized something was different about me. I was very gullible. One day, I was playing in the field with my neighbor, Cleo.
Hey, Celine, did you know if you cover your face in flour, you can fly?
Really? I want to try. Daddy, look!
Celine, no!
The girl who had tricked me laughed with tears rolling down her eyes at my stupidity.
That wasn't very nice of her.
Don't pay her any mind, Celine. Sometimes in this world, people will try to trick you and take advantage of you, but it's up to you to decide who you can trust and who you can't trust.
I can trust you, Dad.
Of course you can, my darling.
The next day, I was walking to school when I spotted the same girl walking ahead of me. Suddenly, there was the loud sound of thunder, except it wasn't cloudy.
Watch out! The bulls are loose!
People started screaming and running as the trampede surged towards us. I managed to hide beneath the cart, but the girl was frozen with fear. I didn't hesitate. I quickly ran over and shoved her out of the way, just in time.
You saved my life, even after I was so mean to you. I'm so sorry for how I've treated you.
That's okay. We can be friends now. I'm Celine.
I'm Cleo.
Ever since that day, we became inseparable, and life was great. Until one day, my whole world turned upside down. I was 16 years old, and I was just returning home from school.
Dad, I'm home.
Dad had fainted on the floor, and I immediately rushed him to the doctor, and they said he was in a coma from working too much. His body just couldn't take the exhaustion anymore.
And unfortunately, there is no cure.
I was devastated. Months passed, and Dad still hadn't woken up from his coma. My Aunt Petunia moved in with me to help care for me while my dad was in a coma, but she was the most annoying person on the planet. One time, she picked me up from school and started insulting me in front of everyone.
Seriously, Celine, where is your sense of style?
You can't speak to your niece like that.
I'll speak to her however I like. Come on, Celine. Or should I say, Selame?
Shut up! The whole class laughed at me as we left. I told Aunt Petunia I would walk home from school alone after that, but she'd still dealt her damage. Cleo often came and had dinner with us to keep me company, and one night, I just couldn't take it anymore.
Celine, pass the salt. Come on, slow coach.
That's it!
Celine, sit down.
I'm gonna go find a cure for Dad.
How do you expect to do that? You heard the doctor. There's no cure.
Not if I have anything to do with it. And just like that, I packed my things and stormed out of the house.
Celine, wait!
Let her go. She's just being a drama queen.
I had been walking for a few hours now, and I wasn't really sure what I was doing. Suddenly, I heard a sound behind me. Who's there? Show yourself! I have a weapon! The shadow stepped closer and closer. I wasn't just gonna stand there and get murdered, so I swung the broom at his head.
Oh, it's me, Cleo!
Cleo! Why did you scare me like that? And what are you doing here?
I'm coming with you.
No, it's dangerous.
You can't stop me.
I knew I could always count on you. We made our way to the nearest town, and at first we were clueless on what to do. But then, I spotted a sign to a magic healer stall. Come on, this is it!
Celine, wait.
I dragged her down to the stall, and at first it looked empty. Hello?
Maybe they went to get lunch?
I noticed a small bell, so I rang it, and suddenly from behind the stall, a boy appeared with facial features like a Greek god.
Good evening, ladies. I'm Adrian, the ancient healer of the gods. You may call me Adrian for short.
Oh, great ancient healer, sir. Please, my father is sick, and I need something that will cure his coma.
I know just what you need.
Really?
Really?
Really. It is called Zeus's serum. Behold.
Ooh.
One sip and your
Father.
father will be completely healed.
Amazing. How much?
For such a beauty as you, 100 gold coins.
100? You gotta be kidding me.
I don't have that much.
Okay then. Well, in exchange for the serum, I ask you for one simple thing. You go to the ball with me.
What? Why me?
You're beautiful.
How do we know this serum thing is real?
I thought you'd ask that. Hey you, lady.
Me?
Come take a sip of this serum. It'll probably cure that cold of yours.
Okay.
The lady took a sip, and suddenly she looked at Adrian in awe.
My cold. It's gone.
See?
You got yourself a deal, mister.
Celine?
Adrian told me I had to go to the ball with him first before he gave me Zeus's serum, so I agreed to meet him the next evening. Cleo wasn't happy about it at all, but I told her I had to do this. For my dad. Besides, you saw how the serum healed that sick woman. It has to be real.
I guess just be careful.
Don't you worry about me. We soon left the store, but as we were walking home, I heard a strange sound, like a cat meowing.
Yow!
Do you hear that? I think that cat's in trouble.
Celine, what are you? Celine!
I ran toward the sound of the cat, but what I found in the alley was the last thing I expected. Who are you? Were you meowing?
Gross!
Relax, ladies. I just need to get your attention.
Why?
You can't trust Adrian.
Who was this guy, and how did he know Adrian? Adrian is a magic healer, and he's going to save my father.
No, he isn't.
Before he could say another word, I bade him goodbye, grabbed Cleo, and left him alone to meow at himself. The next evening, I stood in the ballroom and searched for Adrian. Had he stood me up? But then, from the crowd, a familiar, handsome face appeared.
Celine, you look amazing. Thank you for coming.
Thanks! And of course I came. I want to save my dad.
Yes.
Adrian led me out to the dance floor, and we slow danced for a while. I noticed all the other girls were staring daggers at me and fawning at Adrian, but I couldn't care less about Adrian. I was here for my father.
Adrian!
What the?
Let me handle this.
Be careful, Adrian. That's the creepy cat guy.
Creepy cat.
And then out of nowhere, the guy tackled Adrian to the ground.
You need to stop this, Adrian.
Get off of me.
Adrian! I searched frantically for something to help him with, and then I spotted a bowl of punch. I grabbed it and poured it all over the guy. Get away from me, Adrian!
But...
Security!
Security arrived and took the creepy guy away. I helped clean Adrian up. Who was that?
That is my brother.
What? How is he related to you?
We both grew up with a father that taught us magic of healing, a power like that of the gods. Unlike me, my brother took the dark path of evil, and now he wants to steal my recipes for himself.
That's terrible. At that moment, I was really glad I found the right brother.
Listen, do you want to go outside for some fresh air?
Sure. Adrian led me outside into the cool night air, and I looked up at the full moon.
Celine.
When I turned to face Adrian again, I was disgusted to see him leaning in with his puckered lips. Ew, gross!
What? Any girl would die to kiss me.
Oh yeah? Well, I'm not just any girl. Now I did what you asked. I went to the ball with you. Now give me Zeus's serum.
You want the serum? Fine. Good luck.
I bolted from the ball and ran out into the street. I was feeling a little overwhelmed by everything that had just happened. People were staring at me in my dress, and one of them grabbed my shoulder. Leave me alone! Oh, Cleo! Look, I got it!
That's great, Celine.
What's wrong?
I'm sorry.
For what?
For this.
And just like that, she threw dirt in my eyes and grabbed Zeus's serum from me. No! Stop! How could you? I wiped the dirt out of my eyes and looked around, but she had vanished. How could my own best friend betray me like that? I decided I had to go straight home. Maybe she was hiding in her house. When I arrived, I burst into her room.
Cleo, you jerk! I'm gonna...
But then I froze. Cleo was sitting beside a bed, and on that bed was her sister, fast asleep. Or so I thought.
I'm so sorry, Celine. I had to do it. My sister was sick and I needed that serum to save her, but it didn't even work.
It didn't? After everything, I still couldn't save my father. I was about to break down on the spot when a face appeared at the window.
Hey guys. Sorry, I didn't mean to scare you.
Then the guy climbed inside, as if climbing into people's homes was something he did every day.
You're the creepy cat guy!
Yeah, please don't call me that. Look, I tried to warn you guys. I tried to warn you at the ball. You can't trust Adrian. The serum is a fake. It's just a bottle full of water. Adrian is my brother, and he does this all the time. He's a trickster.
I can't believe it.
That dimwad!
So, you're not a crazy cat dude?
No, I'm not. Unlike my brother, I went down the righteous path and I became a healer.
He told us the opposite.
You can't trust one word that comes out of my brother's mouth.
So my father, Cleo's sister, they have no hope?
I didn't say that. I know how to save your father and sister.
Really? Wait, this isn't a trick, right?
No, it's not. You can trust me.
I suddenly remembered what my father had said to me so many years ago.
Sometimes in this world, people will try to trick you and take advantage of you. But it's up to you to decide who you can trust and who you can't trust.
I looked into Basil's eyes, and I knew he was someone I could trust.
Oh, thank you, thank you, thank you!
It's nothing.
Overnight, Basil worked on some kind of medicine concoction, and finally, he was done.
Celine, your father should go first. It's the least I can do.
I nodded and fed my dad a sip of the medicine. We waited for what seemed like eons until finally, miraculously, my father awoke.
Ooh, where am I?
Dad!
Make sure he eats and drinks enough water and...
Thank you. Seriously, Basil, you're amazing.
Oh,
Suddenly, the door opened and Aunt Petunia arrived.
Celine, you're back? Who is this? What is going on? You're awake?
Yes, he is. So you can leave now. You've been nothing but horrid to me this whole time.
She has?
My brother. Don't believe what she says.
She's my daughter, and I trust her a whole lot more than I trust you.
Thankfully, Dad kicked her out immediately. I hoped that was the last time I'd see my awful Aunt Petunia. Cleo's sister was healed too, and it seemed like it was the end of our adventure. But not just yet.
I'm so sorry for what I did, Celine. Will you forgive me?
Of course I will. I understand family is important too.
Besties?
Besties. And now we have one more thing to do.
Step right up, folks. This anti-aging cream is 100% real. Lose 20 years off your skin in just seconds.
Are you Adrian, the ancient healer of the gods?
That's me.
We removed our disguises and I leapt onto the stall.
Attention, all villagers! This is Adrian, and he is a trickster! The only true thing about his products is that they're fake! Cleo, my bucket, please!
But of course.
We each grabbed our buckets, one with feathers, one with slime Basil helped us make.
No, wait. Please. I beg of you, don't.
If you say sorry, we won't do it.
I'm sorry.
I looked at Cleo and we nodded. Then together, we dumped the bucket's contents all over Adrian and his stupid, handsome face.
Ugh.